How are you?
How are you? Hope everybody's okay this evening. We've got a good show for you coming up for the next hour and a half or so. We've got the whole crew in here now that our man Nate has joined us. So we welcome you to Tuesday night. 12 viewers so far. Start those upvotes early and often because we've got a mega unboxing coming up from it's a big one. Let me tell you, it's giant.
But the box isn't as heavy as the one from Sunday.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
No one could beat that Piguet box. You know,
Beat that giant box.
That box was wild, man.
Did you buy the Grandmaster comp from Sylvester Stallone? Is that?
No, you Blake, you guessed it. We can all go now.
Yeah. All right.
In the
See you
show.
later, everybody. No, just kidding.
Thank you for coming. Yes.
Yeah, we've got mega unboxing this evening. We've got Nate going in and off a camera. We don't know why, and we're just all here to have a good time. Hope everybody's had a wonderful Tuesday. We're going to hopefully make it a little brighter for you. Not sure if we'll have a race this evening, but just in case we have a race, if you want to get into it, we will entertain your super chats, your join the channel, your member milestone chats, and of course, if you want to gift some memberships as well, those would all be welcome, and we'll get you into, if not a race tonight, we'll get you into the next race on the channel. So let's start with what's on everybody's wrist this evening. Miss Jen, what's on the wrist? There you go. The Aquanaut. Yes, because it is not an Aquanaut. Jen G, fabulous watch. Let's go over to Blake. What's on the wrist this evening, sir?
The trusty Panerai.
Hey, there you go.
You can't mistake a Panerai from a mile away.
Yep.
No. I don't think so.
Let's go to our man Mitch. What's on the wrist this
All
evening?
right, I know it's supposed to be Speedy Tuesday, and I'm a renegade, so I'm wearing the other moon watch, the Bulova Lunar Pilot.
There you go. I could have gone and gotten mine too.
Ooh, then we could have been matchies.
That's right.
The all black one. That's pretty slick.
Yes, also the 45 millimeter one that I could get on sale because no one wants the ridiculously large watch.
Yeah, I've got the 45.
I love a ridiculously large watch.
Yeah. Speaking of large watches and Speedy Tuesday,
Boom.
I know. There you go.
44.25 millimeters of sheer Speedy Tuesday.
That's right.
We need to get you a sign for in the background, Mark, that says "not big enough."
It's well, you know, they should be bigger. All watches should be bigger.
Or that it should be bigger.
Mark
having all sorts of trauma. Thanks a lot.
Mark and I are the only two members of the the smaller watch committee. You know.
Yeah,
that's right. Speaking of the small watch committee, here's the chair, Nate. What are you wearing this evening, Nate?
I am wearing the freshly back from 9 months in a cave in Switzerland getting serviced Daniel Roth Athos.
Ooh, very nice.
That band is just stunning with that watch. It's so good.
Yeah, I picked the blue strap to go with the heat blued hands on it.
Man,
Did they polish it?
Sorry. No, I did not. I
Okay.
specifically said I did not want it polished. I got this watch, got to wear it 3 times before the mainspring broke. And apparently, Daniel Roth can only be serviced through Bulgari. No watchmaker that I took it to could come up with or fabricate an appropriate mainspring to fit this watch because it's about 6 millimeters thin, and the mainspring is over 2.5 meters long and 0.17 millimeters thin. So it had to go back to Bulgari, and apparently at Bulgari, even though LVMH owns Daniel Roth, there are only 2 octogenarians in a cave in the Swiss Alps that know how to service these things. So
Fun.
Disappeared in June and has made its way back to me for the low price of a Black Bay 58.
Oh, good Lord. That's
So
ridiculous.
The mainspring on that is like 7 feet long.
It was this
What's
big.
the power reserve on that?
65 hours.
Jesus.
Wow.
Hmm.
And it's so thin
about
too.
2 meters. Yeah, it's 2 meters long. 2 meters long, 0.17 millimeters wide, and it is nobody could fabricate it. I mean, we had the old one that was broken.
Yeah.
Right.
And even all the watchmakers that I know here in South Florida, they went to their fabrication people and they were like, "Sorry, we cannot make this."
They're probably afraid to mess with it because it's not a cheap watch and they don't want to fuck it up.
Well, I mean, the watch itself is, amongst expensive watches I have, it's not, it's less than a date just. So, you would have thought that somebody would be willing to, take a flyer on it. I mean, they took the spring out, so they already had to mess with it. And they could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But I am so happy to have this thing home. It's like the only enamel dial watch that I own. So
gorgeous.
it's an amazing watch, and I highly recommend that everybody get a Daniel Roth. And like buying a vintage Porsche, make sure it has been properly serviced before you take it.
So of course, yeah, really. So of course, I am still honeymooning with the Squale.
Oh yeah.
I love that, dude.
Still on the wrist. Of course, I've only had it sized since Saturday, even though we unboxed it last Tuesday. So that's, what is that? 3 days? That's a new record for me, probably.
How does it wear?
It wears fantastic. Looks fantastic. If you see it out in the sun, it's just it's perfect.
Anybody
Absolutely
ever
love it.
go up to you and be like, "Is that a Submariner, bro?"
No, nobody has yet.
Good.
So, but I mean, I've got, the Longines from a distance can look like a Submariner too. So, and nobody's ever asked me about it. So, I mean, it could be a Cookie Monster for all people know. Since
it's a good looking
nice
watch.
and blue. Yeah. And so between those two watches and maybe my Bucherer, since it'll be worth something someday, thanks to Rolex discontinuing the brand, that could be a collection right there, a 3-watch collection. Add my Omega whenever I get that, I'd be happy with that. 3 dive watches and a dress watch. That's pretty much my personality. So let's go up here and see who's with us this evening. We've got the Ghost of Yiddish vote now. We've got one of my very best friends in the world, John Wiegand, joining us. Hello, John. We've got Respectably Late, able to catch you live today from the land down under. Thank you so much. Nothing like a big box. Absolutely. We've got
GMT suddenly is manifested.
That's right. We've got Nerd with Swag. Hey, man, how are you doing? We've got the Watch Hangout, which is our man in the back. We will have a race this evening. So there you go. That answers that question. Please upvote and send money now for the Bring JJ Home Fund. That's right. We've got to get him out of that place and into a safe house or his mother's basement, one or the other. Let's see. We've got Respectably Late. Welcome. Better put on my Speedy. Yes, sir. Who else we have? We have Trap Vision in here. Evening, you outstanding watch people. We've got DB. That Daniel Roth was less than a DJ. Wow. Luchabetic Underground, which of course is Mark on the panel. Make watches big again. Absolutely. And let's see, did I miss anybody? He's here.
Somebody talking about big boxes, and he is manifested.
Gird your loins. It's Mr. GMT.
He has
man.
risen.
Thank you for joining us this evening, GMT. Feel free to hop on the panel. Goes for everybody at the very top of the chat. We've got the link for you. I don't think it's pinned, but if you go back up to the top of the chat, you'll find it. Swiftus Maximus. 2 things people bought during the COVID pandemic: watches and guitars. Guitars. And I bought most of them during the pandemic. So you're absolutely right. We've got Hawkeye in here. Hello, sir. We've got Ryan Hoffray. We've got the Patek Maniac. What happened to JJ? Well, he's usually not on the Tuesday show. And, as soon as we can get him away from his kidnappers, we will have him back on Sunday night. But, of course, we need super chats to do that. So come on.
Was JJ in Serbia when that that weapon came through?
No, I think it missed him. Hopefully.
Okay, good,
I don't know. We've got Dr. TikTok. Hi from Florida. Buy what you love. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. I think we're all caught up. So tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. And now you've seen the watches we are all wearing today. And this is the day after a holiday. So do you take any, a lot of people were wearing green watches yesterday if they had them, wearing special watches for holidays, for Christmas, for New Year, for whatever. What do you pick the day after a holiday? Do you think about that? So we want you to write in the chat right now, since we're a day after a holiday, what are you wearing tonight? All right. While you were doing that and we're finding out what your day after a holiday watch is, mine just happens to be the same one I wore on the holiday. So, and it turns out that way a lot of times, unless you're, lucky enough to get a new watch for Christmas or something and you're wearing the new watch, sometimes it just stays on the wrist. So let us know exactly what you're wearing.
Just want to let you know that knock at the door of the authorities would like to ask you a few questions about why you're asking a bunch of strangers on the internet what they're wearing tonight.
Yeah. Let's see. Ryan Hofrey, bad joke because of what they said about the Tuesday show. My bad, Robert Wood, sir. Okay. I don't know. Uh-oh. The kidnappers have sent me pieces of JJ's flashlights. The inhumanity.
But have they sent you a Watch Hangout hat? I hear that they are in high demand.
Yeah. So Patek Maniac says he is wearing a Patek Nautilus. Very nice. AB with a VC56. Very, very nice. Let's see. We've got a Nick Reed. Welcome, Nick. Hamilton khaki field on a green suede strap. Ooh, I bet that looks nice. Very, very nice. And Trapp is wearing the same watch he was wearing in his live this morning, the Tissot Heritage 1938, which is a fantastic watch, by the way. It's chronometer certified. Very good watch. And very
pretty. The salmon dial one? I didn't see his video.
No, I think Trapp. What color is the dial on that? I think it's a brown dial, if I'm correct. I believe that's
version in a brown dial. There's also one in a salmon dial.
Yeah, I'm almost sure his is a brown dial, but Trapp, tell me if I'm right about that. I believe I am. We're also going to talk tonight.
I'm looking at them on eBay.
Uh-oh.
I won't say it.
Okay, don't. Is that supposed to be anthracite? A-N-T-H-R. Anther. There we go. Anthracite dial.
It's got spiders on it?
No. That would be an arachnid dial.
Okay.
So, yeah, brown is the color, but anthracite. So we're also going to talk a little bit about the watch market tonight, see what both you in the chat feel about that and us on the panel, whether it's still dropping. Is it leveling off? Do we think that maybe everybody's just kind of holding on to see what happens at Watches and Wonders, and we might see a little bump after that? So we'll talk about that a little bit this evening. And, of course, we need you to get those upvotes in early and often because we've got a big unboxing, all right? let's talk about the watch market and kind of go around the horn and see, what you're hearing, what you're feeling about it. Are we, are we at the bottom? Are we close to the bottom? Are we going to start going up? We'll start with you, Blake, because you've been in the watch market, more than any of the rest of us. And then we'll go to Nate, who also has a lot of experience in the market as well. What do you see? What do you see for the kind of the future of the market here?
I mean, I'm not too optimistic that it's gonna. It's obviously it's just gonna keep falling. I think. I guess I would like to see the days where you can walk in and buy anything at retail. I know those are long gone, and especially Rolex now they're trying to in my opinion, artificially prop up the demand. Right, people want what they can't get. Are we at the bottom? No. Do we have more room to go? I think so. And I guess as a buyer, this is probably all, in my opinion, going to be beneficial for us in the long term to wait to buy. I mean, I guess with reason to buy your next piece, because I think it's just going to go even further down. And then yeah. I mean, we're starting to see it on. I mean, obviously Nate is a little bit more plugged in with the gray market. But I see a lot of dealers are getting inventory, especially Rolex. Like I walked into Rolex on Saturday and they had they had like 6 or 7 Datejust. They had an Explorer 40 sitting in the case. They had a Sky Dweller in the case. They had a couple day dates in the case. Still not seeing some of the steel sports stuff in the case, but maybe one day soon.
Yeah, maybe. Question from Nerd with Swag. I think the tariffs and the economy is driving down the watch market. I mean, the economy, if, people are losing their jobs and they're having to use that money not to buy watches, but to live on, they may have to sell some watches to live on. So, yeah, that would certainly have an impact.
Yeah. I read a report too that consumer sentiment is falling. So I think that's probably scary. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to buy anything right now. I'm a little nervous, especially after seeing my 401k.
Yeah,
I'm scared to look.
Mine's not in good shape either.
But I've been reading that consumer sentiment is on the decline. So,
yeah. What do you think, Nate?
So I think that the comment about the tariffs and the economy is a really important one, and same thing as what Blake just said. Consumer sentiment is apparently as low as it has been in the past decade. I mean, we're almost pushing back to, it's not Great Recession levels of consumer sentiment, but we're close. 71% of the economists that are involved with Fed decision making are concerned about stagflation, which is a term that we haven't heard, I think, since the 70s or maybe into the 80s. So stagflation being increasing inflation at the same time that you have decreasing economic growth. Usually high inflation means that the economy is it's burning real fast. And, GDP is increasing, but prices are increasing, at or faster than overall economic growth. So this is slow economic growth and inflation at the same time people are concerned about. We're still in a high interest rate environment, and I believe that a fair bit of the bubble, I think that it had a lot less to do with, people getting stimulus checks, because, how many watches are you buying with the two $1,400 checks? You had obviously the PPP money for everybody that was able to get access to PPP quote loans that became forgivable. But I think that a fair amount of that was people stuck at home bored in a zero interest environment where you could, take out a home equity loan and go buy something that makes you happy while you're stuck in the house and pay 0% interest or 2% interest, and then sell it and make money 6 months later or a year later. We're in a very high interest rate environment. So people that would, say, okay, I'm going to finance this over a year and then sell it for a profit, can't do that when, your home equity line is at 9% or, credit cards are at 25%. You're not going to go and make those choices. I also think that from a world economy standpoint, we're in a very difficult environment. I am buying right now a number of pieces. I've sold a number of pieces in the last month. As people who watch the show know, I went through a very quick consolidation phase, made some money on some watches from the personal collection, lost some money on some watches from the personal collection, still have some more to sell, but I'm seeing some pieces out there at insanely low prices, in particular from Asia. So, getting them in without having to deal with the tariffs, which you don't have to deal with when you're buying on the secondary market, the same way that you do when you're importing new goods, leads to some very good low prices. And because the Chinese economy is in rough shape, you have people from Hong Kong, selling pieces like mad that are coming from mainland China. I have a piece that's coming in that I'll probably unbox next week, if and or when it gets here. That's the largest purchase I've ever made in terms of a watch, based on what its retail price was. Certainly not what I paid for it, but its retail price that has never been at the price that I paid for it. The flip side of that is it is becoming more difficult, and everybody knows that I've been hyping on buying precious metal watches ever since I first got on this show, saying that precious metal watches was the next thing to pop, even in a declining market. It used to be, and you might still be able to find some out there if you really look, precious metal watches that are now pretty much being able to be bought at gold weight. So you have the combination of declining watch value and increasing precious metal value at the same time. Gold is now hitting $3,000 an ounce plus. I have a watch that's coming in this week that's 160 something grams just of gold weight that I paid less than melt for because it's a watch and people aren't thinking of it as precious metal. So I think we still have a fair ways to go. I think that the steel sports hype is officially over. I think there will always be strong demand for it, but I think that the craze is done. I think that, Tim Massa was talking about it either this week or last week, that the integrated steel sports watch phase is concluded. And I think that that's true. They'll be desirable, but not, multiples of retail price. And I think that it's now a lot of collectors, because the space is still so much bigger. There's so many more people into watches now that as collectors than were 5, 6, 7 years ago. But a lot of them are looking for value, and they're looking at, brands that they wouldn't have thought of 2 years ago or 3 years ago while the craze was going on. And they're looking for precious metal, and they're looking for value, or looking for things that are unique. So you see those strong or stable. You see brands like Cartier still continuing to gain market share and increase in value on the secondary market, while all of the hype brands are dropping some more, like Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse, or whatever the craziness that. Hold on, Kino, come here. Whatever the phrase is. And I think it's great, in all honesty, for the collector community out there that wants to be able to, at some point this year, acquire something that they have not been able to because prices have just been stupid.
I think that one thing, and this was brought up in a video I saw a couple of days ago talking about the watch market, that that this person believed, and I'll remember who it was here in a minute. Oh, it was Andrew Morgan was talking about it. And he said, I look at the watch market now and I look at the watch market in 2019, and he believes that the watch market now is getting back to where it would have been had we not had COVID. So without the COVID bubble, you basically skip those years. You go from 2019 to say mid 2024, or early 2024, and that's what the watch market would have already been without the COVID bubble. I found that interesting. I don't know if it's true, but I think it's a pretty good theory.
Could be.
Yeah.
I would like to think so. I mean, that's optimistic thinking that
Yeah.
we could wipe off the hype from 2020 and just jump right back into where things were. But I think we still have a little bit more room to go.
Definitely. I think that the overall macro environment right now, obviously there's no global pandemic, but just from an economic standpoint, feels a lot like the first couple of months of COVID, where everything just either stopped or took a dump because people just were uncertain. I still see tons of stuff trading right now in the groups that I belong to, but they're trading at a consistently declining price.
Yep.
So I think what that means is dealers have less actual inventory and pieces are getting into the hands of collectors that want them, from the secondary market. So it's not just B2B anymore.
Yeah. Jen, any opinion on this?
I mean, everybody's doom and gloom about it. I get that, especially because of the economy. A lot of people just don't have the money to spend on watches. The one thing that, and maybe this is just because of the microcosm that I'm in personally, watch wise, I see a lot more purchases on the vintage side of things right now than I do newer stuff. Mainly because of trends, the geezer watch trend, all of those, smaller dress watches, that kind of thing, 70s style. So a lot of people are digging for those. So they're spending more time there. They tend to be if you're looking for investment, I would say that they're a more tested investment in the fact that they've been around for a long time. So you kind of know where they sit and what you're getting into. There's not, I would say, as much risk. There's a lot more upside than down on that. So that's kind of where I see things going. I think that the micro brand world is starting to become homogenized.
Yeah.
And we have to be really careful of that as far as movements are concerned. Not necessarily case making and dial making, but a lot of it has become homogenized. And that's caused a lot of long-term collectors to look at it as garbage.
Yeah.
They're not impressed when you put a Salida 200 in a watch. They're just like, whatever. Personally, I don't think it's a big deal. They've been doing Ebosh movements forever. That's how they did it. And it worked because they could go through, they could find the problems and fix them. And they just became very, very robust movements. Value 7750 is a perfect example of that. It's just a solid movement. And if it breaks, there's plenty of parts.
Yeah. Interesting from our man in the back that he thinks that 99.9% of the market has no idea why movements matter or that they matter. Only we as watch collectors do. And I would agree with that too. Let me first, before we go to Mitch and Mark to get their thoughts on this, we've got 61 watching and 29 upvotes. We've got a big unboxing tonight, folks. So let's get those upvotes going. Let's get to at least 40 or 45, and we will have a killer unboxing. Also, like
if you're watching, upvote.
Yeah.
Click the button. It doesn't cost you anything, man.
Nope. And it might not cost you anything to get in the race, but just to be sure, we will tell you that any kind of a super chat, member chat, member milestone chat, if you join the channel tonight, not only do you get in the race, but you can get in our WhatsApp group too, and you can talk to all of us and a whole bunch of other watch lovers 24/7. And then the other way to do it is what Nate just did: gifted one Watch Hangout membership. If you gift a membership, you're also in the race tonight. And so right now, our Ghost of Yiddish Gambino has really good chances of winning because he's it. Your chances are 100%.
Woo!
Woo! So let's get those super chats and such in so we can have us a really cool, tight, close, fun race at the end of the show. Okay. And then we'll pick a couple of people for free entries as well. Yes.
There was an interesting comment by, I think it was by Ryan Hofre, in terms of talking about precious metal watches and commenting about platinum. And I think that's actually an interesting thing, since, everybody that's probably watching the channel is one of us in terms of, a degenerate. We're all amongst friends in this group, also degenerates. Platinum is sort of the interesting redheaded stepchild of precious metals right now, because until 2012, actually pretty much until Russia's initial invasion of the Ukraine in 2014, platinum sold at or near a premium to gold. And platinum, a lot of platinum mining happens in the former Soviet Union. So with all of the embargoes and things like that and limitations, we've seen the platinum market, as a commodity collapse. Platinum is now less than, I think it's maybe a third the price of gold. I think it's around $1,000 an ounce.
That's cheap.
Yeah, compared to $3,000 for gold. Yet platinum watches continue to sell for more than gold watches. And, it's not just a combination of the fact that, platinum watches are $950 and most gold watches are $750. It's that, and it's also that, when you make or fabricate a watch out of platinum, you can lose as much as 20 to 25% of the metal in the fabrication process, as compared to 5 to 10% of the metal in the gold fabrication process. It's just because that metal is depressed, yet people still view the platinum watch as the pinnacle of precious metals when it comes to watchmaking.
Yep.
If you're buying precious metal watches as a hedge, I never say that watches are investments, because they're not investments, but I will say that buying precious metal watches is, in many cases, a precious metal investment. So if you're going to and want to have gold or platinum in your portfolio, for lack of a better description, and you can find watches that are at or near their melt value, I would rather have a gold watch on my wrist than a gold coin sitting in my safe.
Yep.
So it's something to be thought about.
We've got a great super chat from one Pashar 999.
Up, Sean.
Let's see. There's Blake back with us. Interesting topic. Market seems to be stable on non-hype pieces under 25 to 30K. For instance, Patek 5124G. Unfortunately, these non-hype watches appeal to me, and prices haven't dropped yet.
I love the 5124 Patek. I feel like, you and I are of a mind when it comes to the unpopular models from popular brands. The Patek Dandolo is a amazing watch. You can get and the 5124 in particular, it's a shaped movement, which is even more cool for the as Ollie said, the 0.01% of us that actually care about movements and think about why they matter. But I will say that you can find the 5124s now anywhere from, let's say, 14 to 20. Yeah, they haven't dropped, but in terms of a precious, if you like a dress watch and you want something unusual, you want a rectangular shaped watch and you don't want to go buy a tank, a Patek Gondolo is a great way to get a Holy Trinity brand on your wrist for a good price with an interesting watch. So 5111, 5124, I think 5009. Go and look for Patek Gondolo on Google, and you'll find some very cool pieces. You can even get some with amazing complications like 10-day power reserves, day and date complications. And you're going to wind up paying half of what you would pay if it were a Patek and a round watch. So I just throw that out there because that's a great comment.
And we've got a new member, Trap Vision 3D, has joined the channel. Trap, I will get you a link that'll get you in the WhatsApp group, and we will get you all set up. Welcome. We are so happy to have you as a member. So let me go with our man, Mitch. What do you think of the watch market right now?
Well, I think that it is going to eventually go back to the days when you could walk into a Rolex AD and buy essentially anything at retail.
I hope so.
I mean, I think that's where things are aiming at, unless Rolex decides to ignore the fact that they're putting 2 new factories online and cut back on production.
Yeah.
Which would be financially suicidal. So I think the market is going to go back to the days when you could buy anything almost at retail, or in some cases less than retail.
The question will be, do people want them then? That's the real question. You know, if people like...
People used to want Longas when you could get them from an AD for a 20% discount.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who have been notating their interest on steel sports watches, particularly from Rolex, that the only reason why they're notating their interest is because they know somebody who bought one at retail and sold it for 50, 60, 100% profit, you know, and they're like, oh shit, well, I can go put my name in. Maybe they'll sell me one. And then they essentially clog up the pipe for.
Well, I mean, I got my Royal Oak 20 years ago.
Well, the market's changed a lot in 20 years for sure.
You know,
but yeah, I hope so. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
So, super chat $5 from One Bashar again. Thank you, sir. Happy to see you appreciate the gondolas. My 5100G needs a gondola playmate.
5100G is a great watch. Hopefully, I'm thinking he's probably got the blue dial version too.
Yeah. $2 from Bill 29. I want to be in it to win it. Well, you are in it, sir. We'll see if you win it. Thank you very much. Mark, we finally get to Mark. He's been waiting patiently. What do you think?
So I manage a car dealership. And so I've kind of lived this a little bit ahead of the watch curve, where there was the COVID shortage, couldn't get the cars, used cars spiked through like crazy. And now we're back to 2019. Kind of selling in values. But with a caveat, the interest rate, as Nate said, the interest rates so much higher than they were, and the people who bought at the spike. Now, unlike watches, people who bought cars, a lot of them just needed to buy cars or lease a car. It wasn't a pleasure purchase. They just needed a car. Well, those people owe incredible amounts of money on those cars because they bought them at the spike, especially if you leased it at the spike. Now, there was a time during the spike where, like a Wrangler 4XE hybrid, you could lease that car, take the $7,500 government money on your lease, turn around and sell it. At least I had a guy who did it 5 times. You know, he just kept going. You know, because the $7,500 government money on a lease was actually going to the owner of the car, which was the bank, so it wasn't really traceable back in that way. But what is now? What's happened with the rates is that it's created like the payments are. I don't know how people do it. On some of these cars, you know, like you leased a Grand Cherokee 3 years ago for $400 a month. Now it's back down to $600 a month. But for a long time there, it was $800 a month.
Yeah.
Can you imagine walking into your favorite watch dealer and you're working with your sales associate, and then they say, "Oh, my manager wants to meet you," and then the manager comes in for the close, you know?
Exactly.
What can we do to put you into this car today?
In this watch,
put you into this watch, yeah. What can we do?
I will say,
I
will say, I've bought 3 Omegas this year at a 20% discount on all 3 of them.
Yeah. I'm curious to get the panel feedback here because I've been thinking a lot about this, especially with the way that the market's crashing. We're still seeing the price increases, like as if demand never stopped for these products. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's gonna be, you know, as Nate likes to say, a stagflation here in the watch curve.
Well,
do you think that's gonna drive people?
Yeah, Blake, that has already happened to a number of brands. I mean, the one that just shoots out to me, and it's one of my favorite brands, and I hate that this is what's going on with it, is JLC. JLC increased as it continued to decrease in sales.
Yeah.
And decrease in popularity on the new market. Increased prices as much as 45% over a 3-year period.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be you could walk in and get, you know, a basic JLC, you know, monoface reverso as a, you know, 5,000 and change retail at RRP and get a discount off of it from the dealer. It's now an 8,000. The basic reverso is now an $8,100 watch. And it is not an $8,100 watch, which is why it trades for, you know, $4,000 or sometimes less on the secondary market.
Yeah.
So we see those brands that are doing it. Now, the flip of that is Rolex. You know, because so many, and to some extent, you know, Patek has the ability to do it. AP has the ability to do it on their most popular models. Because look, Rolex could, I mean, what was it? 3 years ago, the Daytona was a $12,350 retail watch, and now it's $15,000. Rolex could decide tomorrow to make the steel Daytona, $20,000 at retail, and it would not make a dent in the desirability of the watch at retail.
If the Panda, like let's just say the 126-500 or whatever is the benchmark, if that watch sells for $19,000, $18,000, maybe $17,000 on the secondary market, nobody's gonna buy it at 20. If Rolex changed the price, everybody would just buy it. I mean, there is that delta where they're like, hey, look, I can buy a used one for $19,500, and then I can buy a new one for $20,000, but once you get out of that delta point, people will stop buying them at retail if they can, you know, look at the Smurf, right? You know, I think that's a good example of a watch that nobody will buy at retail, you know, because we've reached way past that delta of you can save 10 grand to get it at the same. I mean, obviously from precious metal, right? You know, but
yeah. I was looking, actually, the perfect example is I was looking the other day because, again, I'm a crazy person, at a white gold Daytona. 126509. It is a $52,000 watch at retail. Channel sponsor Marco from Burdeen's Jewelry has a white, a 2022, looks like in perfect shape, complete, identical to what's in the catalog right now for 40 grand. I mean, that's more than 25. It's 25% off retail. Yes, there is a point where that the delta makes sense to buy it secondary.
We've got. Sorry, Nate. No, go ahead.
Yeah, but again, there are certain brands that could continue to increase their prices without regard to the secondary market because those on certain pieces.
Right.
Rolex can't make a two-tone date just $25,000. Nobody's going to buy one.
We've got a couple of super chats here, so let's talk about these real quick. Vimal, $2 Canadian. Can you disclose the brand trading less than Melt? That would probably be a Nate question.
I can tell you right now, actually. So there was a time. I mean, this is going to sound completely bizarre. There was a time when while Gianni Versace was alive, that Versace made collaborations with very well-known watchmakers. So Versace was involved in the design. The watches were fabricated in precious metal by Frank Muller, by Ebel. In fact, Ebel with a chronograph that comes out of a Zenith El Primero because they didn't make their own in-house chronographs. They were using Zenith El Primero chronographs. There is a website right now that you can go and find those watches for Melt or sometimes even better. You're going to find a lot fewer of them today than you would have a couple of days ago for reasons that will become abundantly clear in the next week, but they're still out there. I have had friends of mine and myself that have purchased watches this year. Or actually last year, I bought Gerald Genta made some immense precious metal watches back in the early 2000s that sell for their gold melt value right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
and again, they're not investments, but I always view as precious metal as a hedge to have as part of anybody's overall investment portfolio. And again, why would you buy a gold bar when you can buy a gold watch?
I think a lot of the vintage stuff too, watches from like maybe the 70s or 60s when gold was way, way, way below, like it cost them way below to mine it. Some of the older defunct stuff, you can go on eBay, and I think I just picked up like for my I don't know want to say what it is, but my UG, like I picked up a gold case for that for what I would consider less than Melt, probably.
Yeah, the only problem with that is, and that used to be the case much more often, but a lot of those watches are really small, and therefore the amount of gold in them it's very light. So in terms of getting it for melt value, it's much easier to find an off-brand or an unusual gold watch that has 150 grams of 18 karat gold in it for around what the price of or value of 150 grams of 18 karat gold is than something that's like 30. So
we got another super chat from Art Vandalay. Thank you, sir. $20. Looking forward to the new releases. We are too. My local AD was forced to redesign his entire store to Rolex's specs. He's not the only one. That's been happening a lot. While having exhibition-only inventory, he leased into a neighbor store to accommodate this. Yeah, I've heard that from a bunch of different people.
It's part of the move to boutiques or pseudo boutiques.
It's likely if he didn't do the renovation too, they'd shut his account.
Yeah,
it's really sad to say that.
Yeah. Well, let's chew on this for a second. And thinking about the insane price increases the JLC one being the best, one jumped to my mind as well. Maybe the thinking, such as it is amongst the watch producers, is, look, we're moving to a boutique model. We're going to have higher margins because we're not splitting any money with dealers.
Yep.
We're going to bowl people over with that glass of champagne that they get at the boutique. And we're going to raise the prices enough that even though we will sell fewer watches, we will make more money.
Interesting question here from Nerd with Swag, $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. Do you think Jacob & Co. watches are any good? I think the movement structure that they use is interesting. They're certainly, I don't think, worth the money. What do you guys think?
I think that, and by the way, I want to share a watch after everybody comments on this. I think that Jacob & Co. is going to have some serious issues in the near future. When a watch brand is so tied to an individual, if that individual has issues, you will have problems.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show this watch in particular, based on the comments that we've been talking about in terms of precious metals. So you would think this is a ridiculous diamond Cartier Pasha. I happen to be the purchaser of this watch, not for myself, but for a friend of mine that was looking to source it, and I was able to make a deal with my contacts at 1916 Company for this. This is a 42 millimeter white gold Pasha with Cartier factory diamonds on it. This watch weighs 230 grams.
Wow.
200 and which is around the same as actually 250 grams, excuse me. It's a little bit heavier than a 40 millimeter day date. So 250 grams, assume for a moment that you take 50 grams off of that for the movement, the dial, and the diamonds. It has about 3 or so carats of Cartier diamond, factory diamonds on it. So I just going on to gold calculator right now, the gold value of that watch is $14,600.
Wow.
Just the gold. This watch was purchased for $14,700.
So
it was listed for
Nice.
It was listed for $15,400. Now this is a few months ago at this point, so gold was a little bit less. But even then, it was $12,000 worth of gold, not taking into consideration Cartier factory diamonds, which have a value. I mean, those are those are DEF and internally flawless diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's a JLC movement, automatic movement inside of a precious metal watch. And you may not like the look. He's a diamond guy. I to some extent am, although not nearly as much as he is. But he's walking around right now. In fact, he has all 3 of them. He has the yellow gold, the rose gold, and the white gold versions of this now. Because you can never have too many identical Cartiers, apparently.
Apparently. I don't know where he would get that from.
No clue. He's the one that started me down this path. I blame him for all of my bad financial decisions.
Sure, it's his
3
fault.
years.
Sure.
But again, he can invest $15,000 in gold, or at the time $12,000 in gold, and have 4 bars, whatever, sitting in a 5 bars sitting in a safe or safe deposit box, or he could be walking around with a beautiful, to many people, classic watch on wrist, 42 millimeter men's watch. So it's all a question about whether or not you want to have that hedge for your portfolio sitting in the bank or sitting on your wrist. It's the same thing for me. So just wanted to share that.
We've got 69 people watching and 41 upvotes. Come on. 4 more upvotes, and we've got a mega unboxing. So if you haven't upvoted now, please get those upvotes in. Also, a reminder that we will have a race at the end of the show. And please participate in the race. Super chats, member chats. You join the channel, you gift memberships, and we'll pick a couple at the end for a free entry. The who's Blake yelling at? His dogs.
Yeah,
There you
sorry.
go. Speaking of member milestone chats, Bubba Hotep, member for 42 months right from the beginning. Blake, turn off that super obnoxious "Hey" cell phone notification, for God's sake.
Sorry. Are you guys hearing me as I'm yelling at my dogs? I'm literally going in here.
I
and
don't.
muting
Whatever's happening over there, Blake, fucking turn it off.
I'm so sorry.
It sounds like it's your cell phone, like you're getting messages and it's
Well,
going,
he turns
hey,
his head sideways. Maybe that's
hey.
what it is. He turns his head sideways every time that it happens, and it's like whatever. It looks like something's happening,
Yeah.
and we hear it. So,
Okay.
yeah. I have, because you guys
Fired.
some of you guys are terrible at math. Like horrible math. Mitch's first comment was right about where the market's going, and this is actually, and Luchabetic will probably have the same experience in the car market, is that the secondary market depends wholly on the primary market existing. Okay, so as the primary market gets more expensive, people right now can currently look at the last reference model or the last 2 reference models of, say, a Rolex, and there will be ceramic and aluminum options. There'll still be high quality options. They'll also be pressure tested. They can still get them worked on, and they're safe buys for Rolex. For most other brands, that safety profile drops dramatically if the watches are 5 years or older, right? And the serviceability drops dramatically if the watches are 5 years or older. So part of the pricing strategy is they say that the overall market is going to continue to be competing against smartwatches. So if you're Richemont Group or if you're Swatch Group, you're raising all the prices to see which styles and which brands of watches people want. But as that happens, and as the secondary market dries up with reliable watches, eventually then people are going to be like, vintage or vintage watches aren't a real market.
Yeah.
Right, like people, the as much as I like those watches personally, if you're buying a 5513, you are a lunatic if you're going to wear that daily, right? It's not going to last in the sink, nothing, right? As much as I love that watch. So as that market continues to evaporate, that pricing strategy just by definition works, because it means that fewer people are buying those watches, creating less of a secondary market anyway. Mm-hmm. That will stabilize and make Mitch's prognostication come true. And that's what Luchabetic is observing in the car market happening much more rapidly, because the secondary rate for cars drops like when they leave the lot 30% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just going to see that, but and mercifully we're going to see that. It will also filter out a lot of like punters and speculators. It's the same way that the crypto markets filtered out a bunch of like the crypto bros early on. In that case, they just got scammed out of the money, which is not quite as dramatic as the watches, but kind of the same thing. All right, so Mitch, his first set of comments, his second set of comments wasn't directly related. Not that the second set of comments were bad. I'm just saying his first set of comments on where the market's going is absolutely right, because that's just the way the macro and the micro work when you have a primary and secondary market of pretty much any product. Continue.
Speaking of Mitch, we've got enough upvotes for an unboxing.
Yeah.
That woke your butt up, didn't it?
Yeah. Lit up real quick.
Ladies and germs,
Yeah.
children of all ages, fellow watch addicts. Okay. So it's a box.
That's why they call it an unboxing, Mitch.
A blue box.
Blue box.
It's not a typical cream-colored Rolex box or a red Cartier box or a sort of gray and ivory JLC box. It's a box. But on the top of the box, it does have a name, which will now be revealed.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Another heavy hitter. Okay.
Audemars Piguet. It's a heavy hitter in a different way. No magnetic pivots on this one.
That thing is wild.
I think I know what it is, but I'm not going to guess and ruin it like
Yeah,
you did on the other day.
Nate. So keep that mouth shut. All right.
I was an AP the other day, and I think I have an idea too.
Okay. So here it comes. Hopefully without dropping it, which is also
Don't drop it.
my specialty.
Please don't drop
Nate,
this
don't
one.
jinx him.
It is a code 1159.
Look at that.
Hey, you got any light bulbs at your house there, Mitch? It'd be
I
really
do,
great
but
to see that
it's
dial.
right.
We got to pitch in and get him a nice little studio light. There you go.
It's too hot. Let me take it off the.
Careful.
This is where it gets tricky.
Yeah, I know. Everyone hold their breath.
Those
That's
are so
purple?
beautiful. This looks
Yeah,
blue.
That's
Yes,
freaking
it's a
gorgeous.
faded blue, white gold.
Yep. Very nice.
Those are so
Very nice
beautiful.
piece.
Yeah.
The whoops.
And the same movement out of the three-hander Royal Oak.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Very-
Man,
Is this a Marco special?
Yes. This one did come from Marco. The Piguet came from EWC.
Thankfully, not at retail for that one.
No,
You're
this is pre-owned as well.
Yeah.
not going to start a journey?
Oh,
You're not gonna build your
Yeah,
customer
yeah.
profile.
You know, I have some Francois Benamia stories that I can't tell in a public forum, but one day if we meet separately in a private forum, I can tell them.
well,
Is he sleeping on your couch now that he's unemployed?
No.
Okay.
Back
Mitch
in
wants to sleep on his couch.
my New York days, I had lots of encounters with watch bigwigs, including once almost doing business with Jean-Claude Beaver himself.
hey,
Nice.
The bee.
But
man.
that was, in my younger, more dynamic years when I
And
can
we
walk a lot and stuff.
want to
Beautiful
thank,
watch, Mitch.
thank
It is
Mark.
a great watch.
Mark gives you his congratulations in a super chat. Beautiful piece, Mitch. Congrats, man. It is something.
Yeah, so this probably concludes my my high-end buying for the foreseeable future.
And by foreseeable future, you mean the month of March.
No, I mean, would I buy another Longines? Yes. Would would I buy another Seiko? Yes. As a matter of fact, I've got a Seiko coming in from Mark at Long Island Watch.
Hey,
There's probably no money left for another Piguet as such for a while. So that's the scoop.
I love the 1159. What AP did that first year to sour the market on it is a crime, by the company on itself, but such a boon for the collectors who actually know what they are and can see what they are. That first year, the flat dials that they released on the three-handers and the initial watches from that year one did not photograph well at all, and they've never recovered, even though the gradient dial three-hander like you have and the gradient dial chronos are just beautiful watches.
yeah,
Yeah.
man alive. So,
And by the way, Blake, turning your camera off is not the same as turning the sound off.
I turned the mic off here, and then I turned the mic off on StreamYard.
see, there we go. Now we can't hear you. ladies and gentlemen, it's the best way to have Blake on a live stream. You can't hear him. What? Nah, I'm just teasing you.
Then I waited 15 seconds, or
there you
approximately 15 seconds before I started screaming at the dog.
We do have to forgive him. He is new to the whole, internet media landscape. So
we want to thank Thomas Burnett for joining us at like 4 a.m. where he is.
Yeah.
I swear, dude, you never sleep.
Thomas, I should tell Thomas that I actually owned a Royal Oak 20 years ago. I got it out of my system.
One Pascher, $5. Congratulations, Mitch. Great timepiece for a great watch aficionado and collector. Cheers.
Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, we really that's a hell of a. You've had a hell of a week too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of these deals came about at the same time, so I just, it cost me a bunch of watches, but that's showbiz.
Yeah, but I would say that you probably upgraded your total collection with those two.
Yes, but I had to get rid of some nice pieces.
Yeah.
Well, what was did I miss that part that you?
Yeah, what did you get rid of, or do you want to
get
say
rid of something?
I traded for the Audemars. I traded my Rolex Cameron and my Glasuto original regulator chronometer.
Yeah,
that was a straight trade.
Nice piece too.
Yeah, that was a straight trade. And for the Piguet, that was more dear. I traded my JLC Duometre and the Piguet La Tradition.
Didn't you just get the Duomet?
Not too long ago. Look who's talking.
I know, right? You're wearing off on everybody over there.
I was going to say, yeah, he pulled a Nate.
The pot called the kettle black, or whatever my grandmother used to.
Otherwise known as pulling a Marco.
Nate only watches for all of like 14 seconds.
Yeah. Hey, James, congratulations. Glad you're here. Thoughts on the new Omega PO World Timer? Maybe we should start with our man Mark on that one, since he is Mr. Omega.
I do love me an Omega. I do not like that Omega.
Yeah.
What don't you like about it?
Everything.
Oh, Mark.
I agree with Mark. I love Omega, but those new pieces just not me.
Yeah, I think the Planet Ocean World Timer's a miss.
Yeah.
I hate the honeycomb. Like, it's like you already have a busy dial, then you just throw some honeycomb around it.
I love the honeycomb on the Super Racing.
Yeah, but on a simpler dial, please.
Yeah, but on that, I don't understand it. I'm not crazy about the bezel, the ceramic. I can't understand why you need a 600-meter dive watch with a world
timer. Yeah,
it makes no sense,
And you got the mold there, or the wart, or whatever.
Omega makes one of the coolest sub $10,000 world timers as it is right now with the Aquaterra world timer.
Yeah.
Because if you look really hard,
you can
find those for even around $5,000 too.
Yeah.
I mean, $6,000 easy, but you can find them for even less. Or if you just want to go completely baller, get the rose gold one on a bracelet for like $25.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense, because Patek makes the other world timer that most people think of when they think of that, like that globe world timer. You're like, oh yeah, that's the one I think of, gold, cloisonné. The next one you think of is Omegas, the blue world timer. Everybody, it just pops into your head, and it doesn't make any sense why you would make another one.
I think
price.
When I think world timer, I think Mont Blanc Geosphere. Is it just me?
That's because you
it is in fact
Geosphere.
Because I bought one for like $1,800.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
Blake's
Yes.
views are not the views held by the rest of the panel
course,
members
yeah.
or JJ's Watch Hangout.
I only speak for myself.
Or
here, right?
any member of the human race. Period.
I won't go
good
that
Lord.
far, but
I will on that one. And by the way, in terms of other world timers that are pretty neat, the JLC Geophysic world timer is another one that's a fantastic. That you get two great complications. You get the world time complication and a deadbeat second, which is just
oh wow,
deadbeat second. You clearly is the watch nerd complication. Let me spend $10,000 or more on a watch that has a complication specifically that has it look like a $9 quartz watch.
Don't tell Jevdet Rajepi that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I like the geographic too. That's a nice little world timer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got
no love for the planet ocean.
So just a couple of notes on what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next week we will have our Watches and Wonders preview because Watches and Wonders will be starting basically that upcoming weekend, I think, or actually is it on the first? Right on the first.
Yeah, the first and through the
so we'll be 1 week out next Tuesday. So we will be doing our preview of Watches and Wonders and what we think is going to come down the line. We'll probably all be wrong, but who cares? It's just for fun. Just like watches are just for fun.
Starts next Monday.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that next week. And then the week after, I think we're going to have a guest host because I am not going to be available. Having a little heart procedure done on April 1st. So wish me luck, and somebody else will be in here on that Tuesday to talk about what was released during Watches and Wonders. That should be a good show. I'll be watching from somewhere, either from home or from a hospital bed.
Yeah, early prediction for Watches and Wonders in terms of Rolex release. I am predicting now that they will release new watches. They will be round. They will be metal. They will tell time.
The wristwatches.
Some will be precious metal.
Guaranteed 100%.
Thank you so much, REG. We appreciate your
prediction. Colored dials.
And we've got $2 super chat. Special treat to see my friend Lucha on the panel. There you go. Yeah, Mark's been with us for, is this your third week? I think third week in a row. And we're glad to have him as a regular now on Tuesday nights. We really do appreciate it. Gladiator, $2. Speedy, 321, or Snoopy 50th anniversary. Pick one, 321.
321.
321.
Yep.
Snoopy.
Go ahead, White.
Snoopy's too novelty.
50th anniversary. I was going to say if it's the black and white one, black and white Snoopy, I would snag that.
Just get you the Timex peanuts instead, bro. Save you.
I love that blue dial, and I love the cartoon on the back. I think that's
the animation's a pretty cool idea.
I just like the history of the 321 better. Yeah. I mean, I know both have history, but I really like the history of the 321. So that's why I would pick it over the Snoopy. I wouldn't turn down either one, though. They're great watches, both of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. John D. Oh, Lucha knows how to make a thumbnail. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Is that about the watch or what?
What watch?
Yeah, was there a watch in that picture?
Wait, was there a watch?
What's women's sized again?
The Rolex Daytona is women's sized.
Oh, God.
Should be in the ladies' catalog.
Stop it. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I'll take the rainbow all day.
John D., does anybody on the panel not have heart issues? The answer is no.
No.
I don't have heart issues. That's the one that still works.
Knocking on
the far left.
Knocking on particle board.
Yeah, the far left. But yeah, Nate has, I have. I don't know if Mark has or not, Jen.
I got a 10.5-inch scar in my chest.
Yep, I got that same scar, man. It's awesome. But yeah, we're all messed up because I just basically
Blake, it's contagious. You're screwed.
I just sit around all day and look at watches. So I don't get any exercise. What's that? So,
I don't either. So I'm slowly behind you guys. So
yep. He offers 10-inch scars at a discount. Inquire now.
Nice.
No thanks. I earned mine. Titanium Milgauss will debut for Watches and Wonders. We'll see. Interesting.
That
Yeah.
might actually be interesting. So
Red Milgauss will actually be a real thing.
Is
this
that a
time.
red
You
Milgauss?
better have guilloche on that red dial Milgauss.
what do you guys think about those land dwellers? Those things are terrible. Those
No.
land
The
dwellers.
oyster
like,
quartz, it was big back. I mean, the Texan.
the renders that I've seen are just absolutely terrible.
No, the renders are terrible.
I
Absolutely.
disagree wholeheartedly with these terrible takes that you guys have.
Well, that's why you're here. So we
I
can
think
help
that
you a little.
I think that the renders or whatever, the photos of the land dweller were actually the best of all the ones that were the leaks.
Sure.
I think that I think the name is stupid, but
Yeah.
I think that the concept of the integrated, sort of oyster quartz style date just watch, I think is an absolute winner of a piece. Especially, it looks like from the photos that they're going the AP Royal Oak route with multiple sizes.
I have one prediction, and I believe that what happened with the Planet Ocean World Timers was a shot to take away some of Rolex's thunder on the deep sea World Timer that we'll be seeing here at Watches and Wonders.
Oh, interesting. We'll see. We'll have the rest of them on the show next week. Everybody's going to throw a guess out there, and we'll see who gets closest. Maybe Design Atelier in this evening. Greetings from Aruba, back home and already working. Glad you made it back home safe, and hope you are having a good evening. Here's one for you, Nate. Trap Vision Invicta will go from 55 millimeter down to 47.5 millimeter and will be 40% Swiss made.
Nice.
Love it.
Where's the other 60%, man?
Nah, who knows?
In Satan's armpit.
Oh, that's bad. We're going to give you, let's give you a 2-minute warning until the race this evening. So if you want to get into the race, we'll pick a couple here at the end as well. But if you want to be assured of getting in the race, oh my God, the purple Invicta again.
When I saw the Planet Oceans, have you seen those memes where it's like more something, where they have like a dude that's like raging, and he's just saying more this, more that. It's like, so when the Planet Ocean came out, it's just like more sport, like raging, like more. You know what I'm talking about? Am I the only one? It's just like,
I know the meme.
yeah, okay. Sorry, I was like, am I talking to myself here?
It's Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi as he's
Yeah, there you go.
ordering them to shoot at Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Somebody at the executive team was just like, more sporty, more sporty, less dressy, more sporty.
So a couple of minutes till the race. Again, if you want to get in the race, super chat, member chat, become a member of the channel, give away a membership, and or we'll pick a couple at the end to add for free. But this is your last chance if you want to be assured to get in the race
Free JJ.
and help free JJ. Those are the ways you can do it. So as we wrap up this evening, again, next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about Watches and Wonders preview show next Tuesday night. I'm sure we'll also do a Watches and Wonders preview show on Sunday night as well. So lots of opinions here in the next couple of shows about what might be coming up. I would imagine maybe on, on Sunday, we might focus on Rolex and do some of the rest of the brands on Tuesday, but we'll see. we'll see how it works out. Again, it's all for fun, nothing serious. We want to thank Roy Jr. for $2 super chat to get him in the race. Thank you so much, Roy. We really do appreciate it.
And we got 75 people watching and 54 upvotes.
Yeah, so let's
nice,
get at least
so
60.
far. We can do better.
Yeah, let's get at least 60 before we end the show. I think we can do that. You guys can do that. And if you're watching on the replay, be sure to watch. Be sure to like as well before you get out there on the replay as well.
Get those troll accounts out.
That's right. That's right. So I think we are just about ready to get into the race.
Okay.
Let's.
Can I throw something out there?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Let me get you a link so you can throw this up.
Throw it up, Robert.
This came out today, I think, if I remember right. It is the new Chrono Swiss Pulse 1. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it.
Oh.
Interesting watch. I liked it better when it was a Harry Winston.
So regulator style watch, right?
Yes, an updated version of the supposedly classic Chrono Swiss regulator.
I kind of like it. You know, I'm a little bit more partial to the either goldish, salmon-ish. I guess it's more gold on the left than I am to the blue on the right.
It looks like an Oris with a nice dial. Sorry, I mean not saying Orises don't have nice dials, but it looks like it's a little bit more complicated.
Yeah.
$13,300 is the price.
I liked it better when it was the Louis Erard for $2,900.
Oh, stop.
Thomas Burnett, $2. What the heck? Let's race. Absolutely. Let's get into it. If our man in the back room wants to bring up the race, we'll let me pick a couple of people. Anybody have some folks that they want to add to the race?
Let's see.
Is DP in the race? He seems like he's been pretty active.
I don't know. We'll get Ali to bring up the screen here in a minute. There it is.
And if Nerd with Swag has been participating,
yeah,
I think he was actually first.
He's already in there.
Yeah, he's already in there because he did a super chat. So DP, let's add
I
DP.
think DP, a good one.
Very
good. What does DP stand for? Just curious.
Do we really want to know?
Well, ask GMT.
Yeah. DP.
How about John D?
Yeah.
John D. Sounds good. All right, folks. DP on. This is a PG-13.
We're family friendly, guys. Come on. What are you doing?
And we're going to race Easter bunnies. 44 seconds on the clock. Okay, the sound is down. Shuffled, and away we go. Hopping down the bunny trail. We've got John D. barely taking a lead. Everybody's still pretty even. John D. pulling out just a little bit more ahead. Nathaniel is in there as well. Roy Jr. Thomas Burnett seems to be moving up a little bit. Nerd with Swag currently in second. Moving up into first. There goes John D. towards the back. Nerd with Swag is your new leader, along with Roy Jr. in second place. Nate in third, but he seems to be dropping off just a little bit. 6 seconds left, and here comes Sean from the back. And he is the winner this evening. One Pashar or Sean, congratulations. You're our winner this evening. You will be in for the monthly race, and we will be doing that at the end of the month. So congratulations, Sean. We're so happy to see you a winner. And so happy that we have a new member, Trap Vision, this evening. And so happy that you took some time to join us. We appreciate you each and every Tuesday joining us for Watch Talk. Congratulations again to Mitch for that fantastic watch that he unboxed this evening. Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can we race gefilte fish?
Gefilte fish? Yeah. We've got some goldfish we can race, I know.
That may be as close as we get.
Maybe. Want to thank Mitch and Jen and Mr. Blake, Mr. Nate, and Mr. Mark, all for being here this evening. You guys have a great, great week ahead. We will see you guys next Tuesday for the Watches and Wonders preview show, and we will talk again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
We just want to talk watches.
That's right. And wear your watch.
Hey guys, look what I can do! I know it's all fun, but I just can't do things. Hey Archie, I'm leaving you tomorrow. I'm kinda getting tired of all the names like from Jimmy calling me. Chink out, motherfuckers! Mike the Snake, I'm leaving. I'm leaving this stream tomorrow. Chink out, motherfuckers!